Have you ever felt like your legs just weren't there for you? Maybe you stood up from a chair and they wobbled, or you climbed a flight of stairs and your calves screamed for help. Most people chalk it up to age, but what if the real reason was sitting quietly on your dinner plate? We've all grown up being told that vegetables are the holy grail of health. Eat your greens, they said, and you'll grow strong. But what if I told you that some of the vegetables you eat every day could be draining the strength right out of your legs? Yes, behind their colorful skins and innocent crunch, a few popular vegetables hide compounds that may slowly weaken your muscles, disrupt your circulation, and numb the very foundation of your mobility. It doesn't happen overnight. It creeps in, like a thief in the night, stealing your power step by step without a sound. If you've been feeling unsteady on your feet, battling leg cramps at night, or wondering why simple walks leave you exhausted, this video might explain why. Because today, we're diving into 7 vegetables that could be secretly sabotaging your leg strength, especially if you're over 50. And trust me, some of them are likely sitting in your kitchen right now. But before we reveal the first silent attacker, do one quick thing. If you care about staying mobile, independent, and strong, tap the subscribe button and turn on that bell. We're here to give you real health insights no one else talks about, and this video might just change the way you look at your plate forever. Let's get into it. Vegetable number 1, the one most of us grew up loving, but might just be draining your strength with every bite. Before we dive into the first vegetable that could be secretly sabotaging your leg strength, I want to ask you something personal. If you or someone you love is starting to feel a little less steady on their feet, if your leg cover the way they used to after a simple walk, if you're waking up with cramps that steal your sleep, or swelling that just won't go down, then this channel and this video might be exactly what you've been searching for. Because here, we don't just talk about health. We uncover the silent traps hidden in everyday habits, and we empower you to take your strength back. So if that mission speaks to you, if you want your legs to carry you farther, stronger, longer, tap the subscribe button right now and hit that little bell. It's not just a button, it's your first step toward reclaiming the strength your body deserves. And hey, I'd love to know you're here with me. If this is already resonating, drop a pat, or just type 1 in the comments. If not, no worries, type 0 and tell me how we can do better. This is a two-way street, and your feedback shapes everything we create. Now, ready for the first shocker? Let's talk about a comfort food that's comforted millions, but might be quietly weakening your legs from the inside out. Let's start with potatoes. 1. Potatoes, the comfort food with a dangerous side. Let's talk about one of the most comforting, familiar foods on earth, the potato. Mashed, fried, baked, roasted, it's on nearly every dinner table. From cozy family meals to holiday feasts, the potato feels like home. And for many seniors, it's part of their daily routine. A side of fries, a scoop of creamy mashed potatoes, or maybe a baked potato with a dollop of butter. But here's the thing nobody talks about. That innocent potato might be slowly draining the very strength from your legs. Sounds dramatic? Let's peel back the layers. Potatoes, especially when fried or processed, are loaded with starches that quickly convert into sugar once inside your body. This causes blood sugar spikes, which then trigger inflammation, a quiet storm inside your blood vessels. And where does poor circulation strike first? Your legs. Reduced blood flow means less oxygen, fewer nutrients, and slower muscle recovery. Over time, your legs start to feel tired, even after simple activities like walking to the mailbox or standing in line at the store. But it doesn't stop there. Potatoes, especially the green sprouted ones, contain natural toxins called glycoalkaloids. These compounds can interfere with nerve function. The result? A tingling in your toes, numbness in your calves, or that strange sensation like your legs fell asleep, but never quite woke up. Ever stand up and feel your legs hesitate? That wobble, that moment of doubt, could be a sign that your nerves and muscles are struggling, and potatoes might be quietly to blame. And let's not forget processed potatoes. Chips, fries, frozen hash browns. These versions are often packed with trans fats and excess sodium, 2 of the worst enemies of circulation and nerve health. Trans fats clog arteries. Sodium causes water retention. What do you get? Heavy, aching, swollen legs that throb at night and make walking feel like wading through wet sand. Now, am I saying you can never eat potatoes again? Of course not. But for many seniors, especially those already dealing with diabetes, poor circulation, or nerve pain, regular potato consumption may be quietly sabotaging mobility in ways that take years to notice, until it's too late. Think about it. A vegetable you've trusted your whole life might be chipping away at your strength one bite at a time. But here's the kicker. Potatoes aren't the only culprits. There's another vegetable, a sleek, purple favorite, that might be doing even more damage to your nerves and joints. Let's talk about eggplant next. 2. Eggplant, the velvet villain in your favorite dishes. It looks harmless, even beautiful. That deep purple skin, the glossy shine, almost royal. Eggplant feels like a sophisticated choice, right? You find it in roasted vegetable platters, Mediterranean stews, and healthy recipes all over the internet. But beneath that velvety exterior, something far less noble is hiding. If you've been feeling strange tightness in your legs, a sluggishness that makes each step feel like you're dragging invisible weights, eggplant could be one of the reasons why. Here's the truth. Eggplant belongs to a plant family called the nightshades, and like its cousin the tomato, it contains a chemical called solanine. Solanine is a natural toxin. In small amounts, it's considered safe. But for sensitive individuals, especially seniors with weakened circulation or existing nerve issues, solanine can quietly wreak havoc. Let's break it down. Solanine can interfere with how your nerves send messages to your muscles. Imagine trying to move, but the signal from your brain arrives late, or not at all. The result? Muscle weakness, numbness, that unsettling sensation that your legs aren't listening when you tell them to move. It gets worse for those living with joint pain or arthritis. Solanine is also a powerful inflammation trigger. So if you've ever woken up with stiff knees, aching hips, or ankles that feel locked in place, eggplant could be adding fuel to the fire. And here's something most people don't know. Eggplant may also interfere with calcium absorption, a mineral your muscles need, like engines need fuel. Low calcium? Expect cramps, fatigue, and over time, a slow but steady drop in your overall leg strength. Think about those moments when climbing stairs feels unusually hard, or when standing from a chair becomes an effort. Not all of that is aging. Sometimes it's your diet quietly working against you. Now, is eggplant evil? No. But if you're someone who already deals with arthritis, circulation issues, or nerve discomfort, eating it regularly might be tipping the scales in the wrong direction. So before you toss another handful of eggplant cubes into your stir-fry, just pause. Listen to your body. Are your legs trying to tell you something? Because the truth is, eggplant might not be your friend. And speaking of trusted friends turning into silent enemies, let's talk about one of the most celebrated vegetables of all time. A so-called superfood that's hiding a dark secret when it comes to leg strength. You guessed it. Next up is spinach. 3. Spinach, the superfood that might be sapping your strength. When you hear the word spinach, what comes to mind? Strength. Muscle. Popeye flexing his biceps and saving the day. For decades, spinach has worn the crown of the ultimate superfood. Parents put it on plates with pride. Doctors praise it. Magazines call it a miracle leaf. But what if I told you that, for some seniors, spinach might be doing the exact opposite of what you expect? Not building strength, but slowly draining it. Let's dig into why. Spinach is packed with nutrients. Yes, iron, vitamin K, magnesium, but it also carries a hidden hitchhiker. Oxalates. Oxalates are natural compounds found in many leafy greens. The problem is they bind to calcium in your body. And when calcium gets locked up like that, your muscles don't get the fuel they need. The result? That nagging tightness in your calves, the cramps that strike at 2 a.m., jolting you out of sleep, the fatigue you feel in your legs just walking across the room. It's not just in your head. It could be your muscles quietly struggling to function, not because of age, but because they're starving for calcium they can't access. But there's more. Oxalates don't just mess with muscle function. They're also infamous for causing kidney stones, a condition that's not only painful, but dangerous. And guess what? When your kidneys are under stress, your circulation suffers. Blood doesn't flow as well to the lower body. And that's when you start to feel puffy ankles, heavy legs, that weird socks feel too tight sensation, even when you're barefoot. Still think spinach is your superpower? Here's another layer. Oxalates can also irritate the nervous system. Over time, this can lead to tingling, numbness, or a feeling like your legs are buzzing, even when you're at rest. And just like that, the leafy green you thought was making you stronger is quietly weakening your foundation. Now, am I saying spinach is poison? No. But for those over 50, especially with kidney issues or circulation problems, eating spinach daily might be doing more harm than good. The real danger isn't in one bowl of spinach. It's in the belief that because it's labeled healthy, it must be right for everyone. So next time you toss a handful into your smoothie, ask yourself, are you fueling your body or forcing it to fight harder? And if spinach surprised you, just wait until you hear what's next. Because up next is a vegetable that's in everything from salads to sauces, a food that might be quietly inflaming your joints and stiffening your steps. Let's talk about tomatoes. 4. Tomatoes, the juicy saboteur of your joints and circulation. They're bright, they're juicy, they look like health in its most vibrant form. Tomatoes, they slip into your meals without a second thought, from fresh salads and pasta sauces to sandwiches and soups. They're praised for their antioxidants, especially lycopene, and most people think they're doing their bodies a favor. But for many seniors, tomatoes may be quietly betraying your legs, joints, and nerves, one bite at a time. Let's talk about the hidden culprit: solanine. Just like eggplants, tomatoes belong to the nightshade family, a group of vegetables known to contain this natural chemical. Now, solanine isn't instantly toxic, but for people with sensitive joints, autoimmune issues, or weakened circulation, it can silently stir the pot of inflammation. Have you ever woken up with stiff knees, or that dull ache in your hips that seems to show up for no reason? That might not be random. That could be tomatoes, fueling inflammation deep in your joints, making movement more painful, more restricted, more frustrating. And that's not all. Tomatoes are also known for their histamine-triggering compounds, which can lead to bloating, fluid retention, and swollen legs. Ever notice your ankles puffing up at the end of the day, or your legs feeling unusually heavy after dinner? It might not be the weather. It might be what's in your food, and tomatoes could be a major player. And here's where it gets even more serious. Inflammation isn't just a surface-level annoyance. When it lingers, it starts breaking down cartilage, the very padding that keeps your joints moving smoothly. That's when stiffness sets in. That's when your legs stop cooperating. That's when climbing stairs becomes a mountain. So while tomatoes might look like the poster child of health, for some bodies, especially aging ones, they're a silent stressor. Pretty on the outside, but problematic underneath. Now let's be fair. Not everyone reacts this way to tomatoes. But if you've been eating them regularly, and you're noticing more aches, more swelling, or more fatigue in your legs, it might be time to do a little test. Try removing them for 2 weeks. See how your body responds. Because sometimes the foods you love the most are the ones your body is quietly trying to reject. And tomatoes? They're far from the end of the story. Because up next, we're looking at a vegetable that doesn't just affect your joints or circulation. It can actually stimulate your nerves to the point of exhaustion, leaving your legs twitchy, tired, and unable to rest. Let's talk about peppers. 5. Peppers, the fiery saboteur of nerve and sleep. They sparkle in every dish. Red, green, yellow, orange. Peppers light up your plate like confetti at a celebration. Crunchy bell peppers in your salad. Spicy chili flakes in your soup. A sizzling jalapeno dancing on top of your stir-fry. They taste like energy. They look like health. But for some people, especially seniors, peppers may be overcharging the system, and your legs are the first to feel it. Let me explain. The heat in peppers comes from a compound called capsaicin. In small doses, capsaicin can actually reduce pain and boost circulation. That's why it's used in pain relief creams. But here's what most people don't realize. Too much capsaicin can overstimulate your nervous system. Have you ever felt that weird, electric tingling in your legs at night, like something's twitching under the skin, even though you're lying still? Or that sudden jolt, as if your leg wanted to move but your brain didn't give the order? That's nerve overstimulation, and peppers, especially hot ones, might be fueling it. Over time, repeated exposure to capsaicin can exhaust your nerves. They become hyperactive, then burned out. The result? Tired, shaky legs, poor balance, restless leg syndrome. And worst of all, broken sleep. If your nights are filled with tossing, turning, and that maddening feeling of, I can't get comfortable, your legs may be trying to recover, but they can't. Because capsaicin is still running the show. And we haven't even mentioned solanine yet. That's right, peppers are also nightshades, just like tomatoes and eggplants, which means they also carry that familiar inflammation trigger, especially dangerous for joints. So if you're living with arthritis or chronic joint pain, peppers might be the spice that's silently turning the heat up inside your body. Ever tried to enjoy a walk but your knees felt swollen? Or felt like your legs were too jumpy to rest but too weak to move? That could be peppers, putting your nervous system into overdrive. Now, this doesn't mean you can never enjoy a bit of flavor, but it does mean you need to listen carefully to your body, especially when the zing in your food becomes a zap in your legs, because your body doesn't lie. And when your nerves are screaming for rest, it's time to turn down the heat. Still with me? Great, because now we're heading into a leafy trap. The next vegetable often sneaks in as a nutritional boost in smoothies and stir-fries, but it's packed with compounds that can rob your muscles of their strength, clog your kidneys, and leave your legs sore and sluggish. Let's talk about beet greens. 6. Beet greens, the leafy trap that drains your muscles. They look innocent. Soft, vibrant green leaves, often tossed into smoothies, chopped into salads, or sautéed next to your main dish. They're the leafy tops of the humble beet, known as beet greens. And if you're like many health-conscious folks, you've probably eaten them thinking, this is good for me. But here's the uncomfortable truth. For seniors, especially those struggling with muscle cramps, weakness, or kidney issues, beet greens might be silently making everything worse. Let's break it down. Beet greens are loaded with oxalates. Yes, those same sneaky compounds found in spinach. And just like spinach, oxalates bind to calcium, trapping it before your muscles ever get a chance to use it. Now picture this. Your muscles are engines. Calcium is the fuel. But every time you eat a big bowl of beet greens, it's like pouring glue into the fuel tank. The result? Muscles that feel sluggish, weak, or prone to cramps. Legs that tire quickly, even with light activity. That unnerving feeling that your body isn't bouncing back like it used to. Sound familiar? But that's only the first layer of the problem. Oxalates don't just interfere with muscle function, they're also a major driver of kidney stones. And here's the chain reaction that most people don't see. Kidney stress leads to fluid retention. Fluid retention leads to swelling in the legs. Swelling puts pressure on nerves and joints. And now, walking feels heavy. Standing hurts. Climbing stairs? Forget it. Beet greens can lower calcium levels in your blood, which increases the risk of osteoporosis, weakening not just muscles but the very bones that hold you upright. One day, you're just a little sore. The next, you're off balance, avoiding movement, afraid of falling. And it all started with something you thought was just a healthy green. What's worse, oxalates also aggravate inflammation. So if you have arthritis or joint pain, beet greens could be throwing gasoline on the fire. That morning stiffness? That lingering ache in your knees after sitting too long? It might not be your age. It might be your greens. Now look, not everyone needs to cut out beet greens entirely. But if your legs feel stiffer, heavier, or weaker than they used to, especially after eating high oxalate foods, your body might be sending you a very clear message. And we're almost at the end of our list. But there's still one more vegetable that deserves attention. A veggie so common, so deeply embedded in traditional meals that it almost feels untouchable. But this one? It messes with your hormones, slows your metabolism, and silently saps your leg power from within. Let's talk about cabbage. 7. Cabbage, the silent metabolism blocker that weakens your legs. It's the quiet one, the unassuming side dish. Boiled, steamed, shredded in slaws, or fermented into kimchi and sauerkraut, cabbage is everywhere. A staple in traditional diets across the world, passed down from grandmother's kitchen with pride. And for years, it's worn the label of simple and healthy. But beneath those tightly packed leaves lies a secret that could be quietly slowing your body down, especially your legs. Let's start with the hidden culprit, goitrogens. Cabbage belongs to the cruciferous vegetable family, alongside broccoli, cauliflower, and Brussels sprouts. These veggies are famous for their antioxidants, but they also contain goitrogens, compounds that can interfere with thyroid function. Now, your thyroid is like the conductor of your body's energy orchestra. When it's underactive, even just slightly, everything slows down, especially your metabolism, circulation, and yes, your muscle strength. Ever feel like your legs are just too heavy to lift, like you're walking through mud, even on flat ground? That dragging sensation could be more than fatigue. It could be your thyroid running on low. And cabbage may be quietly playing a role. But it doesn't stop at hormones. Cabbage is also fiber-dense, which is normally a good thing. But in excess, especially when the gut is sensitive or sluggish, it can lead to bloating, gas, and pressure in the abdomen. What happens when your digestive system swells? It presses on nearby blood vessels, disrupting blood flow to the lower body. And again, we find ourselves at a familiar enemy: poor circulation. That means cold feet, cramps, slow muscle recovery, and that odd feeling like your legs just don't want to wake up after sitting for a while. Here's another twist. When your body holds onto water, which happens with hormonal imbalance and sodium retention, your legs start to feel puffy, tight, and achy. And for some seniors, that heavy leg feeling by evening isn't from activity. It's from what's happening inside your body, often triggered by foods like cabbage. So again, is cabbage evil? No. But if your thyroid is sluggish, or you're already dealing with swelling, weakness, or metabolic slowdown, cabbage could be the quiet force making your legs feel less like pillars and more like anchors. But here's the bigger picture. Not all vegetables are bad, but not all vegetables are good for everyone, all the time. Especially as we age, our bodies become more sensitive and more honest. Those cramps, that tightness, the stiffness after sitting too long, they're signals, warnings, maybe they're even cries for help. So instead of blindly following the label healthy, start listening to your legs. Because mobility isn't just about walking, it's about freedom, dignity, and staying in control of your life. And if adjusting your diet just a little means more strength, better balance, and deeper sleep, isn't it worth it? A wake-up call for stronger legs and a stronger life. So now you know the truth. 7 vegetables. Each one familiar, each one praised for being healthy. And yet, for many seniors, they may be quietly robbing your legs of the strength and freedom you once took for granted. You might be thinking, what can I even eat anymore? But this video isn't about fear. It's about awareness. It's not about cutting everything out. It's about understanding your body better than ever before. Because here's the real secret. Your legs speak, not with words, but with symptoms. The cramps that wake you up at 2 a.m., the heaviness that kicks in after a short walk, the swelling in your ankles you blaming on age, the numbness you feel when standing still too long. These are not just random inconveniences. These are your body's quiet way of saying, hey, something's not working right. And now, you have the knowledge to listen. So, what can you do starting today? Here are 4 simple, practical steps to protect your leg strength and regain control. 1. Identify your triggers. Try removing one of the vegetables on this list for 10-14 days. Notice how your body responds. Keep a daily log. Your legs will tell you what they like and what they don't. 2. Support your circulation. Drink enough water. Move every hour. Elevate your legs in the evening. Even gentle walking improves blood flow and muscle health. 3. Balance your plate. Choose low oxalate greens like kale, bok choy, or arugula. Incorporate calcium-rich foods your body can absorb. Sardines, almonds, chia seeds. Don't fear fat. Healthy fats like olive oil help absorb key nutrients. 4. Work with your doctor or nutritionist. Especially if you have thyroid, kidney, or joint issues, customize your plan. There is no one-size-fits-all when it comes to aging well. Score. And most of all, stay curious, stay informed, stay empowered. Because mobility isn't just about walking, it's about living on your terms, going where you want, doing what you love, and standing tall through every season of life. So if this video helped you, even just a little, leave a comment with "Mobility is Freedom" below, and let's keep this conversation going. Got a story to share? A question? Drop it below. I read every single one. And if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button because we've got more truths, tips, and tools to help you live stronger every single day. Your legs carry your life. Let's give them the care they deserve.